It is Wednesday night, September 29th, 2021. So you know what that means. Another brand new episode of the Kicking Out podcast. I'm Tanner Lee, along with my co-host, Paul Zartman. I feel like I say this every single week anymore, Paul, but what a fun Dynamite episode that was.
I know. I wasn't sure what to expect when I saw the card. I mean, I knew it was going to be action packed, but I was sitting there going, okay, so some of these matches are going to be 2 or 3 minutes long, and that wasn't the case.
No, it wasn't the case at all. Good show, flowed well, went by pretty fast, just as Dynamite should.
Yeah.
Got an awesome main event. I mean, I don't think there's any spoiler here. It's in our
No.
title. We have a new TNT champion. God's favorite champion is Champion No More. Kind of took you and I by surprise.
It did. My oldest daughter kind of told me I looked like I was having a spaz attack. I might have popped a little too much for Sammy's win.
Well, I will give my thoughts on the match when we get to
Oh
recapping
yeah.
it because there was yeah, no, I don't want to spoil anything. I'll give my thoughts when we get there. But I do want to say tonight's show hit all kinds of emotions. It was in Rochester, New York, which was supposed to be planned last year. It was the next show right when the pandemic kind of started. So looking back on it, Matt Hardy and Brody Lee's AEW debuts were supposed to happen in Rochester, New York, which the late great Brody Lee was originally from. It was his hometown, so you could just imagine the pop he would have got. So tonight
Oh
was
yeah.
still kind of a tribute to Brody Lee. Dark Order was more involved with this episode of Dynamite than they had been in the last few months. So pretty touching show. We even saw -1 and Amanda Huber making a TV appearance tonight.
Those were great segments, and we'll
They
talk
were.
about those as they come up. So,
They definitely tugged at the heartstrings. That is
ooh.
for sure. So, kicked off tonight with a tribute graphic dedicated to former AW TNT champion Brody Lee. Like we were saying, JR began the telecast with "It's Wednesday night." You know what that means. Um, and he said, "We're coming to you from Rochester, New York, which is the home of the late Brody Lee." Crowds chant Brody Lee. The CM Punk's music hits. He comes out to an explosion, does a lap around ringside before joining commentary for the evening, which was a surprise to me. I knew he was going to be on. He did hint on Twitter that the New York State Association, I believe, or something to that regard, does not allow stage dives. So that's why he could not do a stage dive tonight. So he was on commentary for the whole night. He didn't get pulled off early by Team Taz like we've seen in weeks past.
No, he had a special insurance policy so that nobody would attack him,
He
and he
did.
wanted that plexiglass, but it just wasn't in the budget.
Yes. Then Adam Cole, his music hits, place goes nuts. He's just a little over, Paul.
Just a little bit.
Excalibur even mentions that All About the Boom is #1 on the iTunes chart for metal. And that is a fact. He's not making that up. It is the
Yeah.
#1 bot metal song right now on iTunes, which is awesome. It is a catchy song, I will say. Jungle Boy comes out, crowd's loving his thing too. I was really looking forward to this match. I thought this match would open up the show. I know Adam
Oh yeah.
Cole's said in many different interviews, Jungle Boy's one opponent he was looking forward to facing in AEW. Fun back and forth match here. A lot of exchange between multiple kicks, big time moves. Towards the end of the show, we saw Adam Cole hit Jungle Boy with a super kick and then a Panama Sunrise. I thought it was over then. I
Yeah.
love that move. I love the Panama Sunrise. Went for the pin, but Jungle Boy kicked out at the last second. Shocked Adam Cole. I even tweeted from our account. Adam Cole's facial reactions or expressions, I should say, are priceless.
Oh yeah, the man knows how to do everything in that ring. So the reaction he always has, whether it's a win or a loss or a surprising kick out, it's always something great from Adam.
He knows how to sell and he knows how to tell a story, but he should, since it's always Adam story time with Adam Cole, baby. Jungle Boy puts Cole right into the snare trap right after he kicked out of the Panama Sunrise. Jungle Boy goes to the ropes behind Cole, but Cole hits Jungle Boy with a low blow. Then he hits the boom, which he is now calling that move the boom. It used to be called the last shot to get the win. After the match, the Super Elite minus Don Callis make their way to the ring. The Good Brothers, the Young Bucks, Michael Nakazawa, and Brandon Cutler, and Kenny Omega all meet Adam Cole in the ring. Then we go to commercial break. After commercial break, we see Carl Anderson and Matt Jackson both do some quick promos talking about how great they are. Then they hand the mic to Nakazawa to let him say a few words. The crowd begins chanting for CM Punk. Kenny Omega takes over and says that he and Bryan Danielson went to the limit last week. Omega says Danielson will not get another shot. Then Bryan Danielson's music hits. And out he comes. He says he wants a rematch. Danielson says he knows what Omega says, and Omega has no balls. And the crowd begins chanting, Kenny has no balls. Danielson then says, let's see if anyone in the Super Elite has the balls to fight tonight. Danielson calls out some backup before he jumps into the ring with the Super Elite. Christian Cage, Frankie Kazarian, Jungle Boy Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt come out to clear the ring, and we go to commercial break.
Marco Stunt. What's he gonna do?
He's got to do nothing. He can take on Cutler.
That's the only way he's gonna get a singles win is over Cutler,
right?
Or maybe Avalon even.
Yep, exactly. Maybe Ryzen if he's still on AEW Dark. But yeah, I
probably the worst record in all of history.
Yeah, I did like the Kenny has no balls that popped me. I also like the fact that we see Bryan Danielson. Sorry, I got a text message. Kind of lost my thought there. Bryan Danielson always come out with the white T-shirt instead of the shirt they're selling on shopaew.com.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Makes me think of Punk. I mean, Punk came out in this shirt, like once or twice for his debut, and after that, it's just kind of been random stuff, like tonight's Rancid sweatshirt.
Yes, the breaking news. We're not watching Roads to the Top, of course, since we're doing this podcast. No. But Sammy Guevara was interrupted in a celebration by Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship next week.
Okay,
that's pretty big news.
You heard it here first on the Kicking Out podcast.
So, another former member of the Undisputed Era shows up in AEW.
Wow,
that's big time.
That is. So now the question will become, does he try to join the elite or the super elite, I should say?
I don't know. I mean, he's been with MLW, so that just shocked me tonight. That's another TNT. Sammy defended it 1 week into it. I like it, but man, that just kind of blew me away from my thoughts from tonight's show for a little bit. So I got a text message about it, so I went to Twitter just to see if that was right, and it is indeed right. So, awesome.
Yeah.
After we return from commercial break, Tony Schiavone standing with the Lucha Bros. They get interrupted by Andrade El Idolo. He says he has some guys who will take those tag team titles away from them. The Lucha Bros accept his challenge, and Andrade walks off.
Who do you think it is?
I don't even know who he gets along with.
And is it somebody from AEW or will it be somebody from
Probably
AAA?
An outsider. Yeah, AAA. I do like how they featured the AAA tag titles tonight on AEW.
Yeah, it was nice to see those for a change. I mean, I often forget that the Lucha Bros are champions.
I do too for the AAA, of course.
Yeah.
I forget Kenny's the AAA champion.
Oh yeah,
because he defended over Andrade at Triple Mania, which we were both wrong about that.
Yeah,
so, we then had a match: Matt Sydal and Dante Martin, your boy Dante, versus Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. Of course, they're joined ringside by Arn Anderson and Brandy Rhodes. I texted you before this match that are we going to get more friction between Double A and Cody because Double A was on the Busted Open Radio with Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray late last week on Sirius and called Cody Hollywood Cody pretty much. Said he needs to focus on his in-ring work.
Yeah. I'm personally more excited about post-match than anything that happened in this match. And I mean, it was a great match. Don't get me wrong. It was a great match, but we'll go through the match and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot back and forth. Interesting styles on this match. Kind of had three really athletic guys. And I'm not saying Cody's not athletic, but his style's just different from these other three.
Right. He's not that high flyer.
But basically, towards the end of the match, Dante Martin hits Cody with a big missile drop kick, goes for the pin, but Cody kicked out at 2. He hits a double stomp moonsault on Cody again, went for the pin, but Cody kicked out. Lee Johnson tagged himself in. Lee Johnson hit a pump handle neck breaker and got the 1-2-3. After the match, we see Cody Rhodes call out Malachi Black, but Arn Anderson stops him right away, asking what happened. Arn says that Cody has been dropping the ball. Arn says, you left your boots in the ring. We did not talk about that. Arn says that he does not coach losers. He tells Lee Johnson to let's go. At least you listen to me. And they walk away, leaving Cody in the ring by himself as we went to commercial break. That was just a short synopsis of it. There was a lot more to it than that.
Oh man. Yeah, that whole if you're sitting at a red light and somebody jerks open your door, that went a whole different way than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, Arn mentions how he would get his Glock out and blow the guy's brains out, pretty much. Like, all right, Arn, you're going there. All right.
Yeah, now we know if Arn ever gets carjacked, it was Arn.
I'm pretty sure Arn would hit the guy with a pine to the spine anyways, but
yeah.
Where are we going with this, Paul?
I think we're going to start to see the separation of the Nightmare family.
I do too.
And I think Malachi Black is going to take credit for it.
For the longest time, I thought Double A would eventually turn on Cody and try to break his arm or something like the Horseman did to Dusty. Maybe they still pay homage to that, but I know everybody's thinking Cody Rhodes heel turn, and Cody's not dumb. He plays to it in interviews. Says he hears the crowd booing him, doesn't care. He's glad he gets a reaction. So he knows. He knows what's. I mean, he talked about it with an interview with Barstool Sports' Robbie Fox this week when he's promoting Roads to the Top. So he's not dumb. He acknowledges all the rumors and everything, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get it or not, the heel turn in 2021.
I don't think it'll be in 2021. I think we're going to continue to see our Cody and Lee kind of tag a little bit maybe, or somebody else from the Nightmare family. Arn will eventually, it won't be Arn that'll turn. It'll be Arn who tells Cody's tag partner to do the turn, I think is where we'll go with that.
Or Brock turns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, are we done with the Cody Malachi rivalry? I kind of wish we were, but I don't think we are.
I don't know. I think we'll see some separation from these two for a little bit, kind of like we saw tonight, where Cody goes to call out Malachi, but Malachi doesn't show, obviously. And, Arnold continue to say, you've got to stop this. And then finally, when it does break, like I said, Malachi will go, I achieved what I set out to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. It's always, a lot of people mention the Codyverse. It's kind of out here away from the rest of the show and never really know where a storyline is going to go.
Well, now, this is for anybody who follows the Sammy vlog. Will Cody eventually come out as Fuego's son?
God, I hope not. I hope they don't incorporate anything from the vlog into Dynamite.
Well,
they
even
don't really
if it's
do it with BTE, so
even if it's not as Fuego's son, but in that gimmick with a mask, and
I don't want to see Cody in any Stardust crap, any mask, none of that. No.
All right, Daniel Bryan. No. And yes, I meant to say that.
Yes, I know you did. No, if they're going to do that crap, put it on Elevation or put it in Dark and Universal Studios. I don't want to see it on TNT.
What about on TBS?
Right now, TBS, that's fine. Come 2022, no, I don't want to see it on TBS either. So
no, I don't think Cody will fully make the turn.
Yeah.
I think referencing Hollywood, it'll be more like a Hollywood Hogan style turn where he was a bad guy, but he wasn't a bad guy. You really liked him, but you were supposed to hate him. And I think we'll see more of that style. The crowd already hates Cody and he's a face.
Right. Roman Reigns style.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
We then got a 6-man tag. I completely forgot about this match. It was Bear Country and Anthony Green versus John Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin, along with Sting. What a foursome that is. Pretty quick match here. We did see Eddie Kingston hitting towards the end of the match, hitting Anthony Green with a few punches before Kingston tagged in Moxley. Moxley got a few punches in on Bear Boulder. Then Kingston and Moxley hit the Violent Crown. Moxley then covered Green to get the win. Darby hit the coffin drop on Bear Country outside the ring. Sting then is called into the ring to hit Anthony Green with the Scorpion Death Drop, and he does.
Yeah.
Quick, fun match for the crowd.
It was. Moxley and Kingston remind me of school bullies. But in a good way, in a fun way, It's just the look they have. It's like, we don't care, like when Anthony Green jumped off the top rope and they just kind of stood there and puffed out their chest and he just bounced off of them.
What do you think of their Rampage main event win over Suzuki and Archer?
I thought it was good for him.
Yeah, Homicide makes an appearance. Really cool.
Yeah, it was
the crowd
great.
Loved it.
Nice to see. Yeah. Crowd did love it. I gotta give Sting props here. He went to go over the guardrail in the very beginning of this match as they were making their intro, and he realized he could, so he just kind of laughed it off and walked around.
Yeah, take the 62 or 63-year-olds. Nope, I can't do that anymore.
But at least he laughed about it. He didn't just sit there and be like,
Right. We then got a 16-man tag team match. This was added late this afternoon. Orange Cassidy and the Full Dark Order with -1 versus the Hardy Family Office. The Dark Order members were arguing before the match began. The Butcher and the Blade went after Preston Vance and tried to take off his mask. Vance tagged in Orange Cassidy, and the Blade tagged in Mark Quinn, which I should say Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, I couldn't think of his name. And Isaiah Cassidy were wearing Brooklyn Net jerseys because they're not too far from Brooklyn. I mean, same state, I guess. Orange Cassidy took down Mark Quinn with a strike. Then Isaiah Cassidy went after Orange Cassidy. Now all 16 men in the ring were fighting as it went through picture-in-picture and commercial break. Hardy Family Office is in complete control during the break as Jack Evans took out Stu Grayson. Alex Reynolds got in the ring and took down in the helico. Jack Evans goes for Reynolds, and Reynolds goes into Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Cole Cabana leave. Then they get stopped by -1, Amanda Huber, Tay Conte, and Anna Jay. Amanda Huber pretty much orders them back into the ring, and they do so. Then the Dark Order started working together, and they cleared the ring out pretty quickly. Uno, Grayson, Cabana, Reynolds, and the Dark Order clear to the ring. Stu Grayson hits the fatality and then pins 1, 2, 3. After the match, they all celebrate together.
Amanda, the new leader of the Dark Order?
Well, I think, she's the Exalted One's wife, so she is technically the boss.
Yeah, I mean, they listened to her a lot better than they listened to Anna Jay when she came back, or even each other.
Yep.
But -1 with those papers, man.
The crowd popped for it big time.
Yeah.
He threw it better than Sue, that's for sure.
He threw it better than Evil Uno.
Yes, he did. No helmet this time either.
Yeah.
We didn't get a big debut like a lot of people were expecting, but as the day went on today, I kind of didn't get my hopes up for that.
My hopes never really got up for it. I mean, I think it'd be cool, but like we've talked, his gimmick right now, he'd be a great fit for Impact, even just as the Wyndham character. It would be a great fit for Impact or New Japan even.
Well, and the 90 days, that goes to like the end of October. So it would
October
only happen if he got out of it early, which has happened sometimes. So
Malachi Black, Adam Cole.
Yeah, still a situation to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
We then got a quick promo from Lio Rush, and he says he's now with AEW and will have an investment gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
So is it good to see Lio, I guess, out of retirement again? Maybe he probably shouldn't have ever made a statement that he was retiring.
Well,
but if he medically thought he was, then he was.
Yeah, and he made a lot of statements about being a businessman, making an investment, being,
Hmm.
so I think we're going to kind of see him as that manager role for a while.
Could be.
Maybe he'll bring in some big talent that will be,
Could be.
slated as the next AEW champion or something like that.
Or if it's all about money, it could be a Hardy Family Office edition. Let's hope not. We then
No.
see FTR cut a promo and says they are back with the best manager and have a renewed focus. Yeah, they need to start racking up some wins again.
Yes, they do. I'm glad that they're both back to full health now, or as healthy as they can
Yes.
be. But yeah, let's get them on the right path for a change. I mean, they were on that path, and then they joined the pinnacle.
Then we get the guy that probably has the most heat, either him or MJF, with the AEW crowd, and that's Dan Lambert. Came out cutting a promo on Chris Jericho and talks about how Jericho's old, and the crowd began chanting, "Shut the F up," to Lambert.
Yeah.
Scorpio Sky says things changed about a year ago, and that one person who has believed in him since that was Dan Lambert. Lambert says the Men of the Year and America Top Team are the best in the business. I was surprised that they had America Top Team go over Jericho and Hager on Friday Night's Rampage.
So was I. But this still goes back to I thought Jericho was losing to MJF. So
Yeah, it's I did read this past week on Fightful Select, which if you don't subscribe for Fightful Select, you can do so for as little as $5 a month. It's definitely worth your investment. Jericho wanted the Inner Circle to lose the Stadium Stampede and disband. Tony Khan was not for that because he wanted them to be able to get back together whenever they wanted. So Jericho says right now he likes how things are. Everybody's kind of going their separate ways, but they're always still a team at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, they're still the Inner Circle without having to do every bit as the Inner Circle.
What did bug me is where was the Inner Circle the other night when America Top Team was taking it to Hager and Jericho? That bugged me. But is what it
Sammy
is.
was getting the cue cards ready.
Yeah, I'm ready to get his face kicked in the other night. We then get a match with Penelope Ford and the Bunny versus Anna Jay and Tay Conte. Pretty quick. Yep, Tay J. Pretty quick women's tag team match here. Right around the 9:30 time slot. So, like usual, a little before 9:30, actually. Towards the end of the match, we see Tay Conte get the hot tag. She takes out Penelope Ford. She tags in Anna Jay. Anna Jay takes and Ford actually took down Anna Jay with a knee breaker. Next, Tay Conte hit the Bunny with the Tay KO on the outside. Anna Jay locks in the Queen Slayer, and the Bunny tapped out. -1 came out to celebrate with Tay Conte and Anna Jay. Pretty another touching moment that tugs at the heartstrings there.
He almost lost his pants getting into the
He
ring.
did. He almost did. Yes,
Poor guy. He was so excited. I don't think anybody told him they were winning. I mean, he was nowhere to be found, and then that bell rang, and it was just like, phew.
Yep.
So,
he's got the energy.
Oh, yeah.
We then got a promo for the upcoming Rampage match of Jay Cargill, Nyla Rose, and Thunder Rosa. It's going to be a good one.
And unfortunately, I'm going to call it now. Jade Cargill's going to win this match.
She should, but I think Thunder Rosa wins, but pins Nyla.
Okay.
Thunder Rosa's number one in the rankings. That protects Jade. I don't know if that goes against Jade's record or not. I don't know how triple threats and fatal fours work when it comes to records.
I think it's more singles.
Yeah.
Because MJF has losses as a tag team, but you don't see that on his record.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of MJF, he came out and says he wants AEW to be successful, which will continue as long as he gets what he deserves. He says that there are young wrestlers who will continue to help build this company. Talks about pillars such as Jungle Boy. He says beat him. Sammy Guevara beat him. Darby Allin doesn't say he beat him. He just kind of glances over Darby Allin. I'm like, that's interesting. And himself. MJF says, without me, the company is not shit. He says he deserves to be the AEW champion. He tells Tony Khan, out of all of the cons of pro wrestling, you're definitely in the top 2. Says he has his old buddy from MLW, Bruce Pritchard, on speed dial. If Tony does not start giving him what he deserves, that raised my eyebrows. The crowd starts chanting for CM Punk. Darby Allin comes out and tells him to go. Allin says nobody cares and he can go. Darby says he is with AEW until death. Darby says to MJF, how can you be a top pillar because he's the only one who has held gold in this company. MJF tells the crowd why Allin is straight edge, and that's because when Allin was a kid, he got in an accident when he was a kid. MJF says Allen's uncle died that night, but the wrong person died that night. Man, he just takes stabs really deep. MJF tells Allen to hit him, and Allen thinks about it, but he won't let MJF break him mentally. MJF and Wardlow leave the ring and walk away.
You know,
Deep
there's
stuff here, man.
deep stuff. And there's one thing I noticed throughout that promo. Out of everybody on commentary, Punk didn't say a word until it was over.
Yep.
And then, it reminded me almost too much of the Jericho Punk feud, where Jericho brought up his dad being a user. And so that one was borderline for me. I'm glad it was an uncle, and I don't know if that's actually true or not.
It is a true story.
Okay.
Yeah,
so.
Darby in his very, like the vignette they had in his very first introduction to AEW talks about that.
Okay. I missed that, or
that's
I don't
why
remember
his face is painted side to side. He feels like half of them died that day.
Okay.
And
see, I knew there was something about an accident, and that's why it was half and half. And
5 years old or so, and he got in a truck with his uncle. Didn't know his uncle was drunk. His uncle was drunk driving. They got in a wreck. His uncle passed away. Darby didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, Darby said that's why he lost trust on people that day. Half of them died inside.
Very similar to the Punk Jericho feud.
Yep.
I think it'll be great with these two, though.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to Punk versus MJF sometime in 2022.
Yep.
Assuming that we get it in 2022 or now 2023.
Punk Cole.
Yeah, I would like to see that feud next. Punk took a lot of verbal shots at the Elite tonight. So
yes, he did.
I don't think he's done with Team Taz yet, though. I think he's done with Hobbs, but he can send Hook.
Okay, here's a question
or
for
Ricky
you.
Starks.
Yeah. Well, it won't be Ricky Starks.
We haven't seen Ricky Starks and Brian Cage.
Exactly. Ricky still hasn't faced off against Brian yet. So, I mean, it'll be like 2024 before that match happens. So
I think they were ready to do it, and then Brian Cage's wife came out and said what she said, and it kind of maybe dug him a deep hole.
Oh, I missed that.
She pretty much called out AEW for not using him correctly on Twitter. He liked it on Twitter a few weeks ago. So. Which, I mean, you can make a point that they haven't used them correctly, but that's what happens when you get so many talents. Some people get lost in the mix.
And again, kayfabe's dead.
Yep.
And if he was a heel still, I don't think too much would have been said about it. But as they're trying to make him a face, I think that was more the problem, probably.
Right.
But I lost my train of thought.
Yeah,
now.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were saying something about Ricky Starks.
Well, before Hook.
Hook.
Do you think Hook's the one to get the pin over Punk?
No.
Okay.
No, unless they think he can be an absolute huge megastar.
Yeah, I've seen debate on Twitter and on Facebook all week long that Hook's the one that's going to get the pin. So I wanted to I don't see it being that way. It's too early.
For the Hook stuff. There's a lot of people who do. The Hook stuff on Twitter and Facebook is all trolling, and it's because people like to have fun with it. If somebody's taking it seriously, they're missing the mark. It is all just fun because nobody even knows when Hook's going to make his debut match. No way he's going to go over Punk.
No.
So.
No.
Yeah. We think of the TNT Championship match, which is the main event. Oh, before that, I should go over next week's card, but I don't have those notes down here.
They didn't say much. They said the casino ladder match is back. Sheeta will face Serena Deeb for her 50th win if she can beat her. So chances are Sheeta's going to win next week.
Well, now we know Sammy Guevara and Bobby Fish.
Sammy Guevara, Bobby Fish, which we didn't talk about in the lineup because of the fact that Sammy hadn't won yet.
Because I'm going to recap that match next. Spoiler alert.
Oops. And then it'll be the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega taking on Bryan Danielson, Christian Cage, and Luchasaurus.
Okay. What's going on Friday Night Rampage? I know we got Nyla, Thunder
got-
Rosa, and Jade Cargill.
We've got Nick Jackson versus Brian Danielson.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
I am blanking the Orange Cassidy versus
Matt Hardy, hair versus hair, right?
Well,
No.
they said Hardy and they said hair versus hair, but it wasn't Hardy. It was the shorter of the two from Evans.
Yeah, Jack Evans. That's right, because
Yeah.
Matt Hardy did on Dark or Elevation or something. He switched to Jack Evans.
Yeah, it's still hair versus hair though.
Yeah, Jack Evans is losing his hair.
Yeah, Jack Evans is going to look weird bald.
Which nobody's gonna care. They'd rather see Matt Hardy bald.
Yeah.
Which I bet it was supposed to be Matt Hardy a while, and I bet Rebby steps in. Nope, not happening.
Yeah, she's not letting that hair go.
And you don't want to piss her off.
No. She's scary.
Yeah, she is.
Her and Amanda Huber. I do not want to piss either one of those two women off. They scare me.
Nope. So now let's get to recapping the main event, the TNT Championship match between Miro defending it against Sammy Guevara. Sammy's really been hyping up this match for the past week. This match had about 15 plus minutes. Very fun match. We saw Guevara get a second win towards the end of the match. He went for a big knee strike. However, Miro caught Sammy and hit him with a nasty German suplex. Miro hit Sammy with a massive clothesline. Miro's trying to get the crowd involved more. The crowd is chanting for him. Guevara hits Miro with a Spanish fly. That was such a beautiful move. Sammy gets in a ton of offense on Miro. Then this is when I'm thinking, okay, Miro's going to end it. Miro goes to end it. However, Sammy avoided Miro and hits Miro with two jumping knees. Sammy and Miro go to the top rope. Miro's about to suplex, but Sammy goes from the top rope and hits Miro with a cutter. Then we see Fuego del Sol come up on the ropes as Miro has been taking off all the turnbuckles. He distracts Miro. Sammy then hits Miro with a swinging or tornado DDT, I should say. Fuego's move, which they have shown in weeks that his neck is weak with the DDT.
Mm-hmm.
Then Guevara nails Miro with the GTH also almost immediately. That right there, I'm saying cover him. Him.
Oh,
he
yeah.
Goes to end it, and it goes up top to finish it with the 636. I'm thinking, oh, my God, he's going to miss, then get choked out, and he's going to blow his opportunity. Kind of like we saw last year, Full Gear, when Cash Wheeler went for the springboard flip front moonsault and missed.
Yeah.
But Sammy hit the 636 senton on Miro, getting to 1, 2, 3, and new TNT champion Sammy Guevara.
Yeah. Can we just talk about the fact every week when we do Kicking Out podcast, we're always talking about Darby's dives to the outside. We're talking about Ray Phoenix's dives to the outside. Sammy, I think, just topped both of them tonight with that move. I mean, from mat over onto the floor, over the ring post.
Yeah, he's they got some freakishly athletic dudes in AEW. I still would put Ray Phoenix up against anybody.
Oh, yeah, me too. But I mean, that move, Ray's going to have to come back, end up in like the 7th row now to be able to compare to that.
Yeah. No,
for the month of September.
Don't challenge him, Paul. He might just do that.
Every time we talk about it, he seems to do something crazy the next time he's on TV.
Yep.
And one of these times, either him or Darby is going to take themselves out.
Yeah, sure is. So I still looking on Twitter here about the Sammy Guevara and Bobby Fish challenge. Bobby Fish actually tweeted out a challenge to Sammy, and Sammy accepted it during the commercial break on the Road to the Top tonight. So,
okay. Yeah, I know as they were wrapping Dynamite, they said, we'll hear from the TNT champion during the first break of Roads to the Top.
Right.
So
I got it recording on my DVR to watch.
So do I.
Probably sometime later this weekend. So
yeah, I won't spoil it for you.
Appreciate that. All right, Paul. Rating from 0 to 10 for tonight's Dynamite.
Solid 8.
Solid 8. All right.
There are a lot of good segments. There were a few that, I couldn't get behind. Like, I know it's a big deal. Jungle Boy was the first one with 50 wins. Mm-hmm. So we celebrated that. but they didn't make it as big of a deal leading up to it like they have with Sheeta. That kind of,
Right.
I mean, and it hasn't been on Dynamite. Most of Jungle Boy's wins were on Dynamite.
No, Sheeta's been forgotten about
Yeah.
ever
So,
since she lost that title.
yep. They pushed her to Dark and Elevation, and that's where she's been.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I liked a lot of the show. I mean, I thought it flowed pretty good, but there was some stuff I kind of tuned out for. Leo Rush's promo, kind of tuned out for. I'm like, oh, Leo Rush is back, cool. And I was never a huge fan of him in WWE. I thought he did good stuff as a manager for Bobby Lashley, but that was about it for me.
I think it was poor placement. Him and Bobby
Right.
didn't really click,
Right.
at least for me.
The 6-man tag with Darby, Mox, and Kingston was what it was. I mean, you knew they were going to win pretty fast in a squash match. A lot of quick promos with like FTR, the Lucha Bros today, the Lambert and American Top Team, and the best man or the man of the year. But loved the main event, loved the opener. Those were fun.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, everything else was good, but nothing over the top. I just really enjoyed those two, and then the MJF Darby promo was good stuff too.
Yeah. Quick question for you that maybe you caught and I didn't. Who was the other guy with the Hardy family office? I mean, there was Matt Hardy I recognized,
I saw it on the
Party,
graphic
Butcher and Blade,
sure. Yep.
and then there was that other random guy who, you know,
he's a talent from Dark, and I forget his name. I saw him on the graphic, and I meant to look it up, and I never did. So no, I'm right there with you.
All right, that just threw me. It didn't seem to fit.
No, they just keep adding more people, and with a 16 tag match, the Hardy family office is really like 7 guys, so they had to add somebody.
Another question for you
okay.
Before we get to Wrestler of the Night.
Yeah, no problem.
We've seen more and more of the Super Elite. The Bucks drop their belts.
Yep.
Cole doesn't have a belt.
Right.
Are we going to get a trios belt?
Yes.
Do you think it'll be the Bucks and Cole that win it?
I think they want it. I mean, the Young Bucks even referred to it on Twitter a week ago.
They've been talking about a trios belt since, shortly after the company started.
The Gun Club wants a chance at it. You could even do Jurassic Express.
I do the same thing all the time. Don't worry, because I
was gonna say Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage, but then I forgot. Oh yeah, there is Marco Stones. If he has a title in the company, my God. Dark Order, you can do
other
trios.
than the BTE.
Exactly. HFO, you could do trios. You could even do trios with the Pinnacle if you wanted to, or the Inner Circle. Tons of trios. I think it's time. I know they're talking about another women's championship. I think it's going to be the TBS championship once the Dynamite switches to TBS. So you don't want to add too many titles, but I think another women's title and a trios title would be perfect. And then I think you're done with titles.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
I agree. It's a good amount of belts. When I interviewed Cody, what feels like 2 years ago, because it's almost been 2 years now. He made the comment of, we don't want to get too many championships, because then it's like, you get a belt and you get a belt and you get a belt and everybody gets a belt. And he goes, we don't want that.
Well, that was before the TNT title was even a thing.
Yeah, which he tried to not hint at, but he kind of hinted at in that interview, which you can go listen to on our YouTube channel or however you listen to your podcasts.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right, Paul, Wrestler of the Night. I know where you're going. This is obvious. Come on,
Sammy Guevara.
I mean, how? Yeah, I'm doing the same this week. I usually don't agree, but it's got to be TNT's Wrestler of the Week on their AEW one. I mean, come on, the kid has put in the work. He's one of the bright stars of the company. He's one of the future stars of the company, as is Jungle Boy, and as is Adam Cole. I want to say that. A lot of people don't realize Adam Cole right now is in his prime. We haven't seen the best of Adam Cole yet.
No, we have not. That's MJF, still to come.
Of course, Darby Allin. A lot of guys we saw tonight are the future of the company. And Sammy finally gets his first title. Won't be his last, but he fulfilled that promise that he was going to be a champion in 2021. I think he carries that title into 2022.
Oh, I think so too. It's, just over 2 months into 2022. He'll keep it. They mentioned that Miro was 329 days without a defeat. Now, I don't know if that included his TNT title run or if that was
this was his first loss in AEW. Yep.
Right. Well, I was, I didn't know if that was just TNT or his combined career in AEW that they were
I think
referring
this is
to.
I think this was his first singles loss. So no, he definitely wasn't TNT champion for that long.
I didn't think so, but
No,
time
man, the
flies.
TNT title. I mean, it just went from Cody to Brody to
To
Cody
Cody,
to
to
Darby
Darby.
to Miro to Sammy. 6
Yeah.
changes
Most
in about a year
prestigious
and a half.
title. I mean, if you want to talk about number of champions, there's
I
your
like how
championship
they
belt.
use it. They use it well, Cody never needed it in the first place, but he put some
No.
prestige on it. They use it until the guy gets up to where he doesn't need the title anymore for the push, and then they take it off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yep.
And Miro doesn't need it anymore. And
No.
even though he was a great champion, I want to see him gun for that AEW World Title eventually. But you need a baby face to take it off Omega.
Right. Which I think we'll get in Bryan Danielson.
You think he takes him off?
I think it will be
Full gear.
Yeah, I'll give it full gear. If it's not him, then when Hangman comes back, he'll take the belt. Yep, that's why I did that. I could see the top of it just enough earlier. I was like, he's got a Hangman shirt on.
Yep, I brought it out of the closet. I hadn't worn it in a while. It might be my favorite AEW shirt, or actually not even AEW, my favorite wrestling shirt I have. But I don't know. I've been saving the way. I was like, maybe Heyman comes back tonight with Big Dark Order segment, but I knew better than that. I think he's on the graphic for that Virginia show in November where he's from.
Yeah,
Got to think he comes back that night. If not, a little before that. I still wouldn't be surprised at the end of Full Gear. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
If Kenny retains over Bryan Danielson, then Hangman's music hits at the end of the show.
Oh yeah, we'll get some cowboy shit. Speaking of November, I know I'm excited for this, and you are too. It could be an interesting night. The 10th.
November 10th, AEW Dynamite's coming to Paul and I's home state in Indianapolis, Indiana. They're making their return. They were there in November 2019, making their return. I was off. I thought they wouldn't return till 2022. Maybe November is just the time of year they're going to come every year. Indiana Farmers Coliseum down at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. So anybody listening to this that is in the state of Indiana, I know Paul and I are both planning on going. So if you see us, say, hey, don't be shy.
Yeah, which also means if we're both in Indy, there's probably not going to be a Kicking Out podcast that night.
No, and to be honest, I want to, and I'm glad you brought that up. There's going to be some other weeks. It might be difficult for both of us to record, especially the 2 Saturday episodes of November. So it could be one of us going solo, or maybe we're going to grab somebody else to hop on the pod, or we just take a week off. I don't know what it's going to look like yet. We're not giving up on the podcast by any means.
No,
but
no.
It does get tough for both of our schedules when the Saturday Dynamites happen. Thankfully, when this show moves to TBS here in the near future, we won't have to worry about that too much anymore.
Yeah.
But hockey's going to get in the way for a little bit.
Yeah. Hockey. So. Punk's favorite sport outside of wrestling.
It is. He loves himself some NHL. So
he's a Blackhawks fan, and everybody else sucks, as he says.
Yeah, well, I think the Blackhawks suck, and I like the Avalanche, but that's all right. I'm not gonna argue with Punk too much. I like CM Punk. So
yeah.
Any other final thoughts tonight on tonight's show, or anything related to AEW in general?
Great show tonight. I know I only gave it an 8, but that was just because those segments that rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
everybody's got those, but that doesn't take away from the quality of the show.
No, good show following maybe the best Dynamite ever last week.
Yeah. Remember, next week is their 2-year anniversary. So this company is only 2 years old, and they're putting on shows like this every single week. So
where are they coming to us from next week?
I blanked it.
Well,
I totally blanked it. Yeah, because my phone's over there charging. It's not by me. I tossed it at the beginning of the podcast. But yeah, so 2 years. And I know Mall of America just extended a warm welcome to them. If they want to do a show from the Mall of America, they're more than welcome to.
Yeah, they're talking about the Dynamite after Full Gear, which would be really cool. Mall America hasn't done anything since the first Nitro,
WCW. Yeah.
which Lex Luger made his appearance. We're in Philadelphia next week.
Okay. That's right, because Punk said something about, that's how he got on the topics of all these teams that suck in hockey, because he was talking about the upcoming schedule.
We go to Philadelphia, then the following week's a Saturday Dynamite. You got Friday and Saturday, both from Miami, Rampage and Dynamite. And then the week after that is another Saturday. That one's Orlando. That's the interesting one because the Jericho Cruise is going to have a lot of AEW talent on it. So that might not be a full stack show. No. Then Boston is on the 27th. And then Kansas City on the 3rd. Then Indianapolis on the 10th. Rampage is still for November 5th in St. Louis, which is interesting. They didn't change that.
Yeah, so, they'll pack up in Indy and head straight to St. Louis. Not that far of a drive, but still.
You mean from St. Louis to Indy?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Then after Indy, they go straight up to Minneapolis for Rampage and then Full Gear.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Flip the two.
The show I was thinking earlier was the Heyman is on the graphic for Dynamite and Rampage on November 17th. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, they already got that booked, so that it's not going to Mall of America. I don't know what Mall of America was talking about.
I don't know. We'll see, though.
Because then it's Chicago on November 24th, and then Long Island on December 8th, and then after that, New Orleans in 2022. So quite a few of them are booked already.
Yep. And, of course, all cards are subject to change.
Sure.
So,
it's wrestling.
Yeah. One final note I got before we start wrapping this. Our top rope didn't fall apart.
No top rope falling apart. No no characters
dying,
resurrecting themselves. So
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, your final thoughts, Tanner?
No, it's still a great time to be a pro wrestling fan in general. Watch whatever you want to watch, like whatever you got to like. Don't let anybody make fun of you or tell you that you're dumb for liking whatever you like. There's too much of that disagreement. We can disagree and still be friends. But especially a great time to be an All Elite Wrestling fan. Look forward to seeing what the rest of 2022 has, or 2021 has in store of us heading into 2022 as we're coming upon the last 3 months of the year, which is crazy to think. So I think in early 2022, I think we'll see some debuts, some returns, things like that. So, but yeah, I'm already looking forward to next week's Dynamite from Philly. Should be fun.
Yeah. And with that, don't forget to stop by Pro Wrestling Tees, pick yourself up some Kicking Out podcast merchandise, support a great podcast, and look great doing so. Be sure to follow Kicking Out Podcast on all social media platforms at Kicking Out Pod. Don't forget to listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts each and every week. Follow Tanner Lee on social media at TannerLee92. Follow myself, Paul Zartman, at Paul Zartman921. And for Tanner Lee, I'm Paul Zartman. Join us again next week as we kick out yet another podcast.